The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Welcome back to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Meacham, former UC basketball player from 1997 to 1999 under the legendary coach, my man, Bob Huggins. And I was fortunate enough to wear the iconic Jordan Brand unis during my time. Now, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex_Meacham. Meacham is spelled M-E-A-C-H-A-M. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn, Alex Meacham. I'm on Snapchat, Big Meach 41, and I'm also on one of my favorite apps. I've learned to just absolutely love this app, and that is TikTok. Thanks to my producer, Stu Holt, at Alex Meacham 41. Stu Holt, might as well bring you on in.
Very good.
Hey, I want to tell you this, Stu. TikTok has become one of my favorite apps, and I'm going to tell you why.
Good.
I get on TikTok, and I scroll through, and every now and then, I'll discover some up-and-coming singer. And I'm telling you, there are so many talented people out there in this world. Like, it is insane. I was scrolling through, and I found there was a girl, and she was a singer, and she was singing an Anita Baker song. Anita Baker has one of the most unique voices in the history of music. Yeah. One of my mother's favorite singers. My mom used to play Anita Baker's music in the kitchen. And this girl is singing Anita Baker. And when I tell you, this girl did not look like she could sing Anita Baker. And her voice was amazing. It was to the point where I didn't believe it was her.
Right.
And then I scrolled through her TikTok page and I saw like different videos of her singing like Whitney Houston. She did Luther Vandross. She did like a bunch of different artists. And I'm like, yo, this is really her. I mean, amazing.
It's a good app.
Very good app. I still have not posted
any
video.
It's coming.
It's coming soon. I was plotting the other night too.
Isn't Shining Star now on TikTok?
Yes. So our intern, Nick Keith, shout out Nick Keith, has been pushing for us to do a TikTok. And we sat there one day and created the TikTok. He posted a video, a couple days ago. And the video, it was a video of one of our kids, Will Kramer, driving the basket for a reverse layup. One of the kids on our 16-year-old team, and a lot of views.
See?
TikTok's where it's at.
It's where it's at. It's where it's at. I told you.
Speaking of that TikTok YouTube challenge of those kids fighting, like doing a boxing match. Did you watch any of that? I don't know if we talked about this the one episode, but so TikTok and YouTube influencers kind of like fought each other.
Oh wow!
It was actually entertaining.
Oh wow!
I hate to admit it. You know, it's like one of them things where like you hate to admit like you listen to like I listened to this right. I watched it and it was
they were like boxing.
They were really boxing.
Oh wow!
It was that, and a couple of the TikTok dudes were actually really good. So what I didn't know is a lot of former, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later in the podcast, but a lot of former athletes become influencers. They use their platform of collegiate sports and the followers they have to then transition into, I'm a TikTok star, I'm an Instagram model, I'm a YouTube, and like I'm watching this and I hear like the one dude used to be a baseball player, the one dude used to be like a high-level soccer player, great footwork, and I'm like, okay, so they're not just like nerdy dudes, they were actual collegiate athletes.
Yeah. There's one dude who was forced to make a decision to either keep his YouTube account and his page or keep playing college sports. And of course, this is before all of this stuff that just happened to where now you can make money off of your name, right? And he chose his YouTube, stopped playing. And now he's like seen as like a pioneer for people or creators because they're like, well, he was doing it to the point where he just left it, right? But it's crazy that now you can do that because back then people had to choose.
Back then you couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Or you had to choose. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later about the NIL, and I want to get your opinion on that because I have some strong opinions on that. It was extremely hot here in Cincinnati, and as we record this podcast, there's literally thunder.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we started, it was like, "Welcome back." Thunder. I said, "Welcome back." I'm like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah, it did.
It was nice and hot. It's supposed to be hot. I think it's supposed to be hot tomorrow. Do you know what tomorrow is, Stu? I often ask you this.
You've asked me this already before?
No, sometimes I'll ask you, like, you know what tomorrow is? And one time it was my birthday, and I said, you know what tomorrow is? And it was like Tupac's birthday. But this isn't a birthday. Something is going down tomorrow at 6 p.m. Do you know what that is?
Something's going down at 6 p.m. I don't know what it is.
I'll give you another hint.
Oh, give me a hint.
It's in Anderson.
It's in Anderson.
Yes. So, every week, everybody out
there. Oh, man. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Every week, myself and a few high school, maybe former college players, we run this big hill in Anderson Township. Giant hill. We call it Death Hill. And we run from the top of it, which starts at State Road. So the corner of 5 Mile and State, where the library is, we start there. We jog down all the way to Clough, which is about a mile. And then we sprint back up the hill to State Road, which is about, no, actually, I'm sorry. Down and back is a mile. So we do, like last time we did six total down and back. So that was about 6 miles of work we did. And there are a lot of people that say they're going to show up, but don't show up. Got all kind of excuses. I've invited you. You showed up last year during the pandemic, faithfully.
Consistent.
This year, you've gone Ghostface Killer on me. I
No,
haven't seen you.
that's not true. You've only done it a couple times.
We've done it several times.
How many times have you done it so far?
So
3 at the most.
This will be number 4.
This will be number 4.
This will be number 4.
So the first time, only one person showed up. I remember that.
Yes.
Okay, so we can't
Brannon.
count that day because if that's the case, if we count that day.
What does everybody else got to do with you?
Because the first day I couldn't make it.
Huh?
I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it for some reason. But you know why.
Air quotes.
You know why I didn't come those other times. I told you.
So Colin Cruz, who's here, he's doing our video work for our YouTube page. Cruzy, you heard him literally tell me that he's not going to run with us because he was worried about the cicadas attacking him during the run. Is this true or false?
I don't really like the way you worded it, but cicadas was a good part of the reason. Yes.
So they're gone.
They're gone. So I'm back. I'm back. But I will not be there tomorrow because I'll be out of town. But next Wednesday, I guarantee it, like Charles Barkley, when he hits that button, I guarantee I'll be there.
I'll
be there.
We're recording this.
I will be there.
If you don't, just be prepared.
I will be there, and I'm gonna bring a player or two.
You told me that before.
I'm going to. I will be there with another person.
I'm writing this down.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Hey, Cruzy, you heard it. I guarantee.
You know it's not always
next
good to make
Wednesday.
guarantees.
I guarantee it. I'll be there.
If you don't show up,
okay,
you owe me another large Dewey's pizza. So this would make
at this point,
8.
It wouldn't make no 8.
This would make, how many are we on?
Cruzy. Do you hear this?
I've lost count too.
It was 3.
So, okay, all right, fine.
It
so
was
this would
3.
make 4
Wait a
large
minute.
Dewey's
No,
pizzas.
I don't owe him anything because
No.
of that bet.
No.
That bet with the Heat.
No, okay. We're not going to talk about that in the podcast because that will definitely get.
It was double or nothing.
Let me ask you this.
I won.
July 4th weekend.
Okay.
What did you do for the 4th?
I hung out with family. We watched some fireworks. That's pretty much it.
I do not care for fireworks. Do you?
They're okay. I don't mind them. They're good. I like fireworks. They're good. I mean, I don't go crazy like, yay, fireworks, but...
Yeah, I think they're overrated. Like, you sit there and it's just like boom, boom, boom. Now, if it's one of those things where, like, it's an extravagant show and there's music and the bridge is, like, you know, going over the rivers, like, blowing up with fireworks and all that, I get that.
Yeah.
But... if it's just like, I don't know, do you like light fireworks up at your...
No, you'll never see me do that. Too much can go wrong.
Back it up.
Back it up, Terry.
Put it reverse, Terry. Terry. That is one of my favorite.
Oh, my God.
Lord, Terry. Terry's trying to...
I'm not trying to be Terry. I'm not trying to be Terry.
Back it up, Terry. Put it reverse, Terry Day.
Terry.
Now, I don't like messing around with fireworks. Did you see that? Was it a hockey player that got killed?
What?
He got killed this weekend.
Wow.
I guess a firework hit him in the chest.
Oh my gosh. See.
I believe he was a hockey player.
See.
Killed him. See, I don't mess around with that stuff.
Yeah, because you can't control where it goes, right?
No, evidently.
Because sometimes they can
go out of control. I don't know.
I don't want to find out.
I don't want to find out either. That's tragic. First of all.
Yeah.
Did you see Jay-Z had a big party in the Hamptons?
I did not.
Now, I'm not a big July 4th party guy. I don't do the whole parties. I actually relax. I would have gone to that party. That party looked amazing. You had what's the owner of the Patriots?
Oh, is it Kraft?
Kraft was there. One of the owners from the Sixers, I believe, was there. Lil Baby was there. Meek Mill was there. James Harden was there. They had like Travis Scott was like DJing. Lil Uzi Vert was breakdancing. I'm like, what?
Oh, you know what? I saw Uzi breakdancing somewhere.
That was at that party.
Oh, wow.
And the house they had it in was amazing. So I'm like, what can I do between now and next year to be invited to that party?
Start doing TikTok videos.
I think you're right. I'm writing that down.
That's the number one thing I can think of.
I agree with you.
It's the number one thing I can think of. That combined with the Bearcat Basketball Podcast.
A combination of the two. I want to bring up something.
Okay.
You asked me a question. Let's see if you remember this. You asked me a question it might have been a year ago. It was actually a year ago or so. And I didn't really answer your question. I was on your podcast. And you asked me what was my favorite Stevie Wonder song of all time. Do you remember this?
I think I do remember that. It was actually, we did it here.
We did it right where we're recording
right now. Yep.
Right here. We were in the yoga room.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
And I didn't give you a specific answer. And for some reason, so it's hot right now. It's hot in Cincinnati. Yeah. Obviously, it's raining. I don't know if they can hear the rain hitting the roof and the thunder on the podcast, but it's been very hot in Cincinnati. And anytime I think about heat in July, I think about Stevie Wonder, one of his greatest albums. Not the greatest, but one of his greatest is an album called Hotter Than July. Have you ever heard this album?
No.
He's on the front cover and he's got his, it's kind of like there's like a lot of different colors going on. It's kind of an electric looking cover and he's got his braids with beads on the end of it. And on that album, there's a song called Rocket Love. That is my favorite Stevie Wonder song of all time. And I thought about that when I was actually putting together the podcast for today. I was like, I've got to answer
Rocket Love.
Your question, which I never did.
Very good.
There you go. Rocket Love. Have you ever heard this song?
I have not.
Cruzy? So, Cruzy, I'm going to challenge you to learn this song, and I'll do the hook. I'll do the hook to it. I'm gonna get some like big glasses, like Stevie.
Oh,
I'm gonna make it a production.
You gonna do the whole thing?
Yeah.
You gonna get a wig?
I'm not gonna do the wig.
You got to.
Okay, I'll get the wig.
Yeah, you got to.
That song is easily my favorite, Steve. And there are a lot of Stevie
I gotta look it up now.
songs.
I gotta look it
Definitely, we'll talk about that.
Good.
I've got a lot of things that I want to talk about here today. A ton of stuff. One of the things I want to bring up is the NBA Finals before we start getting into UC Bearcat stuff. But the NBA Finals, we've got the Suns versus the Bucks.
Very good.
And it's not really the finals that everyone anticipated. It's not one of the finals that I think, from a rating standpoint, the NBA is probably super excited about. However, I think it's refreshing.
Yes.
And I think it's good for the game.
It is.
For several reasons. One, Devin Booker is a superstar.
Yes.
And a lot of young people are looking up to him right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of young people are looking at, he's like, no offense to Steph Curry, but at some point Steph Curry is going to be finished and everyone's going to be looking for, that next guy becomes, because like Steph, we were talking about Steph before the podcast, but he's been so good for so long. People start to become a little bit numb to his greatness.
Right.
And they look for the next
person to create a spark.
Sure. And I think Devin Booker is that guy. Do you agree with that?
I do agree. I hate to say it, but Light Skin Nation is really they're making a run for their greatness.
Wow.
They got Drake. They got D Book and Steph Curry. They've got a lot.
Imagine if Trae Young didn't get hurt and the Hawks made it to the
finals.
Oh
man,
there'd be a light skin parade.
Man, it would be a parade for sure. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I would have loved. I personally wanted to see the Hawks versus the Suns with the healthy Trae Young.
I did too, and I truly feel like it would have happened. But
if he didn't get hurt. For sure.
I really feel like it, man, because there was points in the game, just in Game 6 alone, there were points that I know were like his moment.
Yes, he would have.
And he would have came through and changed some stuff, man, and just, but that's how it goes. And speaking of that, I want to say something that's been on my heart. I tweeted it about Chris Paul. And
I got my pen out.
Yeah, this is what I want to say about Chris Paul, because I keep hearing people say, "Oh, people getting hurt and stuff. That's the only reason why Chris Paul is in the finals." And you know what my response is? Injuries is the very reason why he hasn't been in the finals.
Ooh.
So it's part of the game. He's just on the other side of it this time.
That's an interesting point.
There's been games when they played the Warriors in that one series. There's been times where he got hurt that it could have changed the whole series if he was not injured, and his team could have advanced.
For sure.
And so injuries is just a part of the game, and he just happens to be on the other side of it this time. So I'm happy for him.
And that's a great point. And it's not like Chris Paul is playing average basketball.
Exactly.
He's playing
out
at
here
a
hooping.
high level.
Man, that last game.
That
last game, he showed people like, shut up. That's pretty much.
CP was angry.
He looked angry. He looked angry.
He was so first of all, he was playing angry, and then when he finished the game, when he was doing the post-game on-court interview, I think it was with Rachel Nichols. I believe it was her. I know she's in a little trouble right now, but he couldn't even talk. Like, he cussed the one time.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he's like, Rachel, I got to step away.
Yeah.
You could tell there was an emotional piece to it. And I think that's where a lot of fans don't really understand sometimes in basketball or just sports in general.
Yeah.
That a lot of these players, man, there's certain things that, gets them angry. Like, I really believe, first of all, CP doesn't get along with Rondo. Boogie Cousins and him got issues. He used to play for the Clippers. Everybody's talking about he's never been to the finals. And there's just you put all that in the pot, stir it up, and CP was fired up. That fourth quarter was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, man. Like I said, that he's already CP. But people were, like you said, saying, oh, he's getting older and he's a bad team. It's just a bunch of stuff that I feel like all of that collectively, he just had it in his mind. That's what it looked like. Yep. And he was just shutting everybody up shot by shot, play by play. He had an amazing fourth quarter, man. And I was happy for him.
And, so there are a lot of people that are critical of Chris Paul in a lot of different ways. So they'll be critical of, he plays dirty sometimes. He's not to say he's a bad teammate, but you hear different. I mean, it's a lot of different things that people say about CP.
Yeah.
But I always rebuttal with this. Like, John Stockton was a dirty player. Like, everybody will tell you that. You go back and watch that finals versus the Bulls and Utah Jazz. Like, he's holding people's shorts, elbowing, coming off of screens. Like, if that's what people call dirty. Sometimes guys that size need the edge. Like, Chris Paul's not a big dude.
He's not.
And he plays with an edge. And I used to play with a guy named Steve Logan. And Steve Logan is one of the greatest guards to ever play at the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
One of the most high IQ basketball players I've ever been around. It's Kenyon Martin and Steve Logan, hands down, the two most high IQ guys I've ever played the game of basketball with. And Steve Logan played with an edge. He people sometimes would say Logan's an asshole, but he needed that to be the player he was.
Yeah.
Because he was 5'10.5". And I feel like Chris Paul has that edge too. He's been short his whole life.
Right.
And you need that edge. In a league, think about Chris Paul dominated in the series in a league that plays above the rim, and he's playing below, like, he's not an above the rim player.
Exactly.
That's what the league is.
Exactly. And, the thing with him too is, just even talking about that, I even tell players nowadays that are shorter, I'm like, look, man, you got to have an edge. You know what I mean? You got to have an edge. You got to be that scrappy guy. You got to be that guy that just makes those plays and have a certain attitude, man, because you're trying to survive out here. And then, like you said, he's in a league. Chris Paul's in a league that's above the rim, but for small guys, man, you gotta survive.
Yeah, no question. And I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to get to know CP, to be around Chris Paul. I'll tell you a story. I don't know if I ever told you this story. Did I ever tell you a story in LA when I was with Chris?
Maybe.
So I don't think you've heard this before, Cruzy. So long story short, my friend works for Michael Jordan, and CP is a Jordan athlete, and so my friend became best friends with CP. So I've got to know CP through him. So I fly out to LA. This is when CP was playing with the Clippers. I go to the Clippers game. I believe it was like Clippers Magic. And after the game's over, the Clippers won. After the game's over, my friend and I, we go to the family and friends area down below the arena after the game, private area, high security. And so we're down there, and CP comes out, and we're kind of chopping it up with him. It was the first time I had met CP. And so, another friend was with us, a guy we call Jersey. We call him Jers. Jers was with it. Jers is from New Jersey, and he was living in LA at the time. And Jers is a very typical East Coast guy, very aggressive, like just says whatever, says whatever he wants. So this is my first time around CP. So, I'm trying to play it cool, like JJ Redick walks by, Doc Rivers walk by, us, hey, how you doing? And we're like, hey, what's up, Doc? And like Lance Stevenson played for the Bearcats. He was playing for them at the time. Like, he goes by in his Bentley, and actually we had a Bentley. And I talked to him for a minute, and we chopped it up, and he drove off. And so I'm talking with CP, and I'm trying to play it cool. And he said, oh, yeah, I saw you talking to Lance. And I was like, yeah. He's like, man, Lance is wild, man. I'm like, yeah, trust me, I know. And all of a sudden, Jers starts, like, Snapchatting, like, a selfie, like, around us. And I'm like, and CP's like, yeah, what's up? Like, in my buddy's Snapchat little video. And CP really doesn't know Jers like that.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. See, he was cool with that. So I started doing some videos. And CP was like totally cool with it. Like, didn't care. We took some pictures together. He was like super, super cool. So my buddy and everybody were going their separate ways. And so keep in mind, we're in the like lower level of Staples Center. My buddy's going their separate ways. I parked my car, and I got a rental car because I'm in LA. I parked my car like 3 blocks away. So my buddy and his wife was there. they said, we're leaving. So they start walking their way. Jers and them start walking their car. And CP goes, where are you parked? And I'm like, oh, man, I'm like 3 blocks away. And he's like, oh, man, get in the car. And I'm like, and I don't know CP like that.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I'll wobble. I'm like, I'll walk. And so he pulls up, and he's got the big Mercedes, like, truck with everything. He's like, no, hop in, man. I'll take you around the corner, man. It's all good. And I'm like, nah, I'll walk, man. He's like, man, get in the car. And I'm like, first of all, I was like, where I parked at is, like, down from LA Live. And I'm like, if I get out of your Mercedes truck, everybody's going to see you and, like, run over. So it's going to cause a scene. He's like, oh, yeah, you're right about that. I was like, bro, I'm good. I'll walk. Now, knowing I wanted to get in the car and ride, but I'm trying to play it cool because I know I'm going to see him again.
Right.
And so he's like, yeah, that's cool, man. I was like, plus I'm in LA. I'm walking. I'm like, I'll see a ton of people and people watch. He's like, okay. He's like, man, we'll see you again. Super, super, super cool. But fast forward, I see him, gosh, let's see, when was the next time? Next time I saw him is when my friend got married. My friend actually got married in Lexington, Kentucky. CP flew into the wedding and surprised my friend. And he came, and he was there for the wedding. We chopped it up a little bit. But I'm telling you this. He is, and at the wedding, like, he was super nice to everybody. He talked to people, took pictures, was really cool. Definitely one of the top 5 celebrities that I've ever been around as far as just totally being, cool with. Like, Will Smith said this one time in an interview. The guy interviewing him says, do you ever get tired of being Will Smith? Because you literally can't go anywhere. And if people see you, they start singing, in West Philadelphia. Like they start doing the corniest stuff to Will Smith. They're like, don't you get tired of that? Will Smith goes, nah, I love being Will Smith. He's like, I love that. He goes, every time it energizes me. And Chris Paul, like, loves being Chris Paul. Like, he loves being who he is and being around people, and he totally embraces that.
Wow.
So, I'm saying all that to say this. I reached out to a couple folks, and I asked them to talk with CP and get him to come to a Bearcats game. Mikey Saunders, that plays for the Bearcats, is a huge CP fan, and I talked to him, and Mikey was like, man, if you can get him to a game, man, that mean the world to me. So I'm working on getting CP here. Check out a Bearcat game.
Very, very good. Very good. Very, very good.
And can I need to say this. I don't mean to put you on blast.
Okay.
This is the Bearcat Basketball Podcast, but little do people know
I know where this is
that
going.
Stu
I know where this is going.
is a big Xavier fan. I've never... People... You know what? I can see the numbers going down when I said that.
You about to have me out there with Rachel Nicole. You about cancel.
Cancel. If you're following Stu on Twitter or Instagram, unfollow.
But you know what? I'm actually a Bearcat fan, though. I'm actually a Bearcat fan as well. Reason being is I used to do a podcast where we interviewed a lot.
That is true. There were a lot of Bearcats.
Yeah, and even the podcast I do now, right, interviewed a lot of Bearcats, right? Kevin Johnson and,
My man.
Yeah,
KJ.
So Desai DeGuara, so because my co-host is a big UC Bearcat fan, big Bearcat fan. And
Jay Thomas.
He's big Bearcat, the one and only. So, So, yeah, because I would root for those guys. I would root for those guys. And now, because of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast, see, it's even more. So,
all right.
Very good.
You're going to cheer for the Bearcats.
When?
When? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, in general?
No.
When?
December 11th. Crosstown Shootout.
You say, who am I rooting for?
No, you're rooting for the Bearcats.
I mean, I will be watching and enjoying the game. I won't be rooting for anyone.
This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You won't lose any credit or have to start over. I had to cut you off there. I just had to.
Oh, man.
Sometimes you got to make that move. And by the way our setup is, this is called killing two birds with one stone. Although I do want to say that I'm against the killing of animals, but we're killing two birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
Across from where we are right now, if you open this door, my AAU team, Shining Star Sports teams, are all practicing, and we're in what is this?
Storage room or something?
A big time storage room, and we are recording the podcast as our teams play. So
yeah.
And the way our thing is set up, Stu, I know people on YouTube can see this, but Stu is to my right, and I've been looking to the right, and my neck hurts now. So Stu, I'm not going to be looking at you anymore. Just to let you know, I'm just going to look straight, and we're going to have to deal with it.
Very good.
My neck is hurting. So listen to this. So it's basketball camp season, and I remember growing up as a young kid. When I was 9 years old, my dream was to play for the Bearcats. And I used to go to the Bearcats basketball camp. Tony Yates was the head coach, and I used to go to the Tony Yates basketball camp. And if there are any old heads out there listening to the podcast, you remember the Tony Yates basketball camp. Roger McClendon, Romel Shorter. I can go on and on with all the Bearcat players that were my coaches when I was at the basketball camp. Romel Shorter was one of my coaches. Roger McClendon, who's one of my favorite all-time Bearcats, was my coach. Cedric Glover, all the old school greats. But Tony Yates basketball camp, they used to give you this basketball with the old school Bearcat logo on it. It had the actual Bearcat face on it, and it said Cincinnati Bearcats written in a certain script. And they used to give us this basketball. I wish I still had that Tony Yates basketball camp basketball, just to have as a souvenir. And they had Tony Yates basketball camp T-shirts. Man, I used to love going to that basketball camp. Did you go to basketball camp when you were younger, Stu? Did you go to a lot of them?
I went.
Please tell me you didn't go to Xavier's basketball camp.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I went to what? I can't. There was okay. I thought I might have been UC. It might have been UC, and I think I went with my sister, but I need you to confirm it with me because there was a women's player who was really good, and I want to say her name was KB or something. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
When was this?
I was younger. This probably was over 16, 17 years ago. Dang. And I feel like it was UC. It was UC's camp. But it was.
You were at the camp?
I was there.
So what was the women's basketball player doing? Working the camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was, you know what I mean? She was working the camp. But she was really good. Wasn't it? What was her?
You have to look that one up.
What was her name?
That was a while ago.
It would have been a while ago.
While you look that up, I want to tell a quick story.
Okay.
People appreciate this. Bearcat fans appreciate this. So when I was younger, after the Tony Yates camp, obviously Bob Huggins took over, and so Bob Huggins started becoming the biggest figure in Cincinnati sports. It was after the Final Four run. Bob Huggins basketball camp was jumping. This is back when they had overnight camps. So you'd literally stay overnight. I forget how many days the camp was. They really don't do that a lot anymore. But we would stay in the dorms. And I will never forget this. So we're at Bob Huggins basketball camp. I mean, there might have been 1,000 kids at this camp. They were using 4 gyms. They were using the Shoe, Lawrence Hall. They were using all kind of gyms. The YMCA down. So I'll never forget this. We're staying in the dorms, and somebody pulls the fire alarm in the dorms. Now, it's in the summer, so nobody's in the dorms. It's just the basketball camp players. Somebody pulls the fire alarm. So all the basketball players that are at camp are sitting outside of the dorm in the lawn. It's 2 a.m. All of a sudden, you see this big figure walking up. It's Bob Huggins. So he had to wake up, get in his car, and drive to campus from Loveland. And he had on these big glasses, his regular glasses he wore. This was, back in the 90s, so he had these big glasses. And he proceeded to cuss us out. I don't think I've ever, how you fear your mother and father, you want the consequences of getting in trouble with your parents. But I'm here to tell you, when Bob Huggins went off on us, every one of us were like, this man is scary.
Yeah.
That speech he gave, I've talked to him about this. He remembers it like it was yesterday. That speech he gave, man, that I remember the next day at camp, everybody was on their P's and Q's. Like if a coach told you to run from drill to drill, you sprinted. Because now the coaches, they knew everybody was scared. And they were like, do you want me to get Hugs to come back in here? And no. We're going to work. I'm telling you, I'll never forget that. Those camps were so fun, man. I will never forget basketball camp growing up. Did you find?
KB Sharp.
KB Sharp. I do remember. I remember that name.
KB Sharp. Yep. She ended up playing for New York Liberty, Indiana Fever, and Chicago Sky.
Was she your coach at the camp? Like, did you actually?
I don't remember that. But I remember she was working the camp. She was there, and she was like big at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
a star.
A star. There we go. But yeah, she was there from 99 to 2003.
Wow.
So that was longer ago than what I thought.
Yeah. You were just a little.
I was younger than what I thought, which makes sense because I rarely remember it for us. So that it probably was like her last year, so I would have been like 8.
Yeah, I remember her. So that's one of the great things about going to college basketball camps, and that is you get to interact with the current players. Mm-hmm. They're your coach,
right?
Like how cool is that? Like even when I played. Like a bunch of the players worked the camp so we could get paid, and like you'd have Kenyon Martin there, and all these star players, and they were coaching the kids, and I always thought that was really cool. And so fast forward to 2021, and I'm in my 19th year of running basketball camps all around the greater Cincinnati area. And I thoroughly, we do 12, we're doing 12 camps this summer, 12 total camps. That's a lot of camps.
That is a lot.
And I love it. When I put together the script of how we're going to run camps and, with our staff, I think back on my days of going to camp and how fun it was and trying to recreate, that fun. Yeah. And we give these Camper of the Day and Camper of the Week prizes. So every day, so our camps are Monday through Friday, 5 days. We give a different kid a Camper of the Day award, and the winner gets a Bearcat basketball. Mike Bone, the former athletic director at UC, they did some event at UC, and they had something like 200 to 300 Bearcat basketballs that were left over, and they had to give them away to a charity. And Mike Bone emailed me, and he said, "Hey, I've got these basketballs. Do you want them?" I'll never forget when I got these email, and I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Well, pull up to the loading dock tomorrow." So I pull up to UC's loading dock, and they loaded up these boxes of deflated basketballs. And I mean, I've been giving them away at my camps for years. There was like 200. There was over 200 plus basketballs.
Oh wow!
So I've been giving them away as Camper of the Day. And I'm sad to say, this past weekend, this was our 4th camp so far. I gave away the last one. There are no more Bearcat basketballs left.
Wow!
That was the last one. We had a good run, Cruzy.
Did this kid know the significance? Did they understand that they were getting the last?
No, he didn't. And I remember the kid. His name was Zach. His name was Zach. And before the camp started, the camp director. So we have each facility we go to that we do these camps. I have a camp director, and the camp director actually her name is LaShonda Jones. Her son is Carlik Jones.
Oh, very good.
Who was in the NBA draft, guard for Louisville.
Yeah.
A player who I told Mick he needed to offer a scholarship to, and he didn't. So I will always hold that up Mick said. Mick recruited some great players, but I'm always going to tell Mick, you missed out on that one. So Carlik Jones, his mother, LaShonda, runs our camp at Tri-Health. And she told me before the camp started, she says, hey, Zach's father had a heart attack and died. He was in his 40s, and it was recently. And she says his dad would be up there every day shooting baskets with him. So she goes, I think they signed him up to this camp to kind of keep his mind off things. So he was the last kid that got camper of the day and got the Bearcat basketball. So what I'm going to do is I already drafted it up. I'm going to send him a personal letter. Just kind of an inspirational letter of dealing with, loss and, kind of moving forward without his father. So kind of like every day of the camp, like I was just thinking about him and like looking at him like, this kid's father just died and he's at our basketball camp. So he was happy. He had a lot of fun. I think he, kept his mind. Sorry to bring it down like that.
Man, it's raining and stuff.
It's raining and tears are.
Dang. But you know what though? That's sports, though.
It really is.
It's sports.
Think about this. Well, I'm going to say this, and that's so funny you say that because that segue into something. John Brannon, who was the former Bearcat coach, and I know everybody knows all the drama. I've talked to several Bearcat players that played for him. All of them have told me the same thing. The death of Coach Brannon's father really affected him in a way no one will truly understand. Obviously some things went down before he was fired, but a lot of people have said the death of his father really, really, affected him. And you look at it as maybe it's a getaway, like his father passes away and he's coaching and maybe he can keep his mind off. But the problem was John Brannon's father was at every practice. He was behind him in every game. He would talk to him after away games. That support wasn't there anymore. So he lost part of himself. I don't think we've talked about that enough. I've mentioned that before in a past podcast, but I was talking to a media person who totally agreed with what I said in terms of John losing his father. But man, we're getting sad here. Cruzy, when you eventually do a song, man, we can't do any sad songs, okay? No, we can't do anything to any tearjerkers. We need to spice. Oh, I'll spice it up a little bit here.
Okay.
Every camp, I give away a Camper of the Week prize.
Okay.
And the winner gets an autographed copy, whether they like it or not, of my book, Walk of a Lifetime.
Oh, good.
Now,
good.
Let me. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I wasn't even going to say anything about that, which I will say in a minute. Here's the cool thing about that. So, my publisher. So my book came out in 2000, August of 2000, and so 21 years ago, whatever. So my publisher passed away, and his family gave me everything from the book. Like they gave me all the copies he had in storage, all the rough drafts, like everything. So here I am, like he was handling getting the books to Amazon or the Joseph Beth, Barnes and Nobles. Now I've got everything. I own the rights to everything. So I'm sitting on boxes of books because our first printing sold out, and then he did a second printing. Well, just like with anything, the sales start to go down. So I had a ton of books. So I said, I'm going to start using them as giveaways.
Right.
So for years, I've been giving books away to the campers of the week.
Good.
Well, having done it so long, I have run into people that are like high school basketball players. And they're like, hey, do you remember me? And I'm like, nah. I was at your camp, and I read your book, and I was camper of the week. And I'm like, wow. That happened pre-pandemic. I was at a game, and a freshman came up to me. Didn't notice him, because I do tons and tons of camps. I'm not going to remember everybody in 18 years, and there's so little at the time. And he's like, man, I loved your book, man. That's pretty cool to me.
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
That's amazing. I got a question for you. Do you ever get tired of being Alex Meacham?
Absolutely not.
Good.
I love it. You know, and here's the thing. And this is why I think Coach Wes Miller is going to be very, very successful as a Bearcat head coach. I love two things. I love events and I love people. I love going to big events. So if there's a luncheon, if there's a dinner party, I love going to those. I love being invited to those because I love being around people. I love meeting new people. I love talking to people. I love learning. When I met with Coach Wes Miller, same way. He's asking me when I first meet him, and he's new to the city, where are the lunch places I need to go? Where are the dinner places I need to go and meet people? What are the events I need to go to? Like, he's asking me these questions. And I'm like, man, that's refreshing. A coach that wants to get out and meet people and go to events.
Yeah, that's crucial, man. Being able to actually be with people, connect with people, is huge, man. When you're a leader in sports or a leader in anything, you know. But as leaders, it's important to be able to connect with the people and actually be able to touch people, shake hands, and talk with people. It's important. It's important.
You said the key word. Leader. When you're in leadership position, to get out and meet with people and not sit in an office. Yeah. That's why, like, if you think about it, like Bob Huggins goes down as one of the biggest sports figures in Cincinnati history. Yeah. And a large part of that is, of course, he won, but he connected with our city. He connected like nobody else. Yeah. Second, I know some people may agree with me on this, some people may not, but I'm going to say President Ono, one of the former presidents of the university. Legend. Did he not connect with the people?
He was a legend. You know how you know he was a legend?
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
I saw people at Xavier wanting to take pictures with him and post on Instagram.
That's what I'm saying.
Were you about to say that?
Yes, because
amazing.
Because I was a Xavier kid.
Unfortunately, yes.
And so because of that, but we knew Ono.
Yes.
I saw Ono one time, right? Because I would be with Jay. And Jay made it seem like Ono was like the president of the United States.
Yes.
Like, it was a big deal.
Yes.
Where I think he got a picture with him one time.
Yep.
But then I think we saw him one time, and I was like, oh, man. There he is. You know, he just had that presence because, like you said, that connection he was able to make with the students, with people. He didn't make himself seem like somebody that was untouchable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It was somebody you could relate to, connect with. He was willing to put himself out there and do videos and show his personality. And it's refreshing when you see somebody that's higher up be willing to come down.
I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah. I will never forget this. I'm on my way to a UC football game, and I get a DM on Twitter. And I look, and it says President Ono. And I'm like, oh, it's probably one of them fake.
One of them burner accounts.
Yeah, one of them fake burners, like
Spam
President Ono 33.
Right.
You know, put some
President Ono, O-H-N-O, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So I look at it, and I see it, and I'm like, well, this is President Ono. And he said, hey, I'm doing a special thing, pre and post game. Pre-game, come up to the president's office and come meet some people. And then post, I can't remember where the post thing was. He's like, you know, come and see. So I go to the pre-thing. And I go up there, and he's hobnobbing. There are probably about 15 people in there. And I'm like, why did he invite me? And so this really happened. So I'm up there. Like, I don't know him that well. So we're chopping it up, and he's asking me questions like, oh, when you were here and you played, what was it like? And I start talking to him about what it was like and the energy. And I said, oh, no, you're the first president or anybody in a major leadership position at the university that I've ever seen like walk the campus. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he said to me something, and I'm not saying as eloquently as him because he's a high academic guy, but he was like, a university is about the students, not the buildings. He said, so what's the use of me being in a building the whole time? I need to be out there with the people. Mm. And I was like, man, this guy really gets it. Like, you know, a lot of people talk, like the NCAA, they talk a lot about student athletes. Mm-hmm. But I feel deep down inside, they don't truly care about the student athletes. It's about the dollar. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But with Ono, when he said he cared about the students, I really, truly believed him. The man did a fundraiser for the Dragonfly Foundation. He shaved his head. I don't know if you remember that.
I think I do remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you know this man reached out to me and said, do you have any tips on shaving my head? He did. He did. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
That's funny.
So we ended up, when he shaved his head, I came over and I took a picture with him.
Wow.
It's just like, this man is running a university. He's got a million things to do. And he's talking to little old me. Mm-hmm. Like a walk-on. I'm like, imagine how many people he's doing that with and how important he's making them feel. I just thought that was just such great leadership skills. And I feel like Wes Miller, new head coach, is a lot like that. Like, we text today.
Wow.
He and I text today. He remembered something, and I'm gonna actually show you the text message. Oops, that's the text message from Cruz. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm. When he told you that he was playing like 2 weeks ago. That was secret messages.
So, and you're seeing this. This is from Wes Miller. This is today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say today?
Yep.
I can't even read this on here, but this was a conversation we had about some community service activities. And this man is texting me. You see that?
Yeah.
About connecting up with me to get involved with some charity events in the community. Wow. You see that text?
I see it. That's amazing.
And I ended up texting, you can see this too. I ended up texting John Cunningham, the AD, and I'm like, you hired a good one. Like this guy's impressive.
Yeah. And I got a quote for you.
This is impressive. You're plugging in. Is your computer dying?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
We're good though, right?
It was on one.
Okay. It was on 1%?
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
You saved it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, clutch.
You are clutch.
Like Kobe. But
So wait a minute. Let me say this real quick.
Okay.
You have dropped so many things that we talked about before we started recording.
Absolutely.
People have no clue. I tell you what we talked about before this is probably better than the actual podcast itself. We need to start recording the pre-podcast and post.
Let's call it the pre-podcast.
Pre and post, yeah.
Yeah, Well, here's my quote. All right. This is what it says. I had to look this up so that I made sure I got it right. A boss has the title, but a leader has the people.
Yes, I've heard this. This is great.
Amazing.
Say it again. Say it with some like you told me before we started you would be a great game show host.
Yes.
Did you not say that?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
This is your game show host.
Oh, say it like a game show host? That's a different sound than I thought you were about to try to tell me.
No, I don't want that. But being a host of something and saying it with some oomph.
Okay. A boss has the title, but a leader has the people. I'll let you ponder on that.
Good.
And we'll be back.
And we'll be back.
Oh, we'll be back.
2 and 2.
After these commercials.
The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Man, that was a great.
You see that?
And I wasn't even ready.
You see? I'm ready. You know, all them networks, I'm ready. Y'all need me to host a show.
When you started that, you know who you sounded like?
Who that sound like?
The dude that says,
I'm thinking, who?
But sauce? The guy who says...
But sauce? What?
Wait a minute. What's the, I just
But sauce. I don't know what that is.
the guy who has the famous video. I think he worked at like God, what's that place called? He worked at like an electronics store, and somebody was recording him. He's like, "But sauce?
Oh, you talking about sauce
forever?"
So yeah, sauce versus it was something else.
What is it? I just forgot it. I say it all the time, and I completely.
It's sauce and is it juice?
Juice.
Is it juice?
It's temporary.
Or yeah, something like that. But sauce? I know what you're talking about.
Sauce is for. Look
That's
that.
hilarious.
Look that up. That's who you sounded like. I don't know who that guy is, but
yeah, juice versus sauce. That's
yeah,
what
that's
was.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. That is a legendary video. I forgot about that.
Oh man, whoever got that, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, that's good.
So, a couple things I want to jump into real quick. I want to talk a little bit about Mio's. Shout out to everybody at Mio's Pizza, Kelly, Richard. Huge UC supporters of UC Athletics, man. They are killing it, and they really want to engage with the Bearcat community. So I want to tell the Bearcat fans out there, if you are in Clifton, please stop by Mio's. Get a pizza, get a drink, stop in there, ask for Richard, ask for Kelly. Tell them you listen to the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. Great people. We're going to be doing a live podcast from Mio's every home game this coming season for Bearcat Basketball. And I'm here to tell you, I am so pumped up to do this. And I'm pumped up because it's not going to be just me talking. I'm bringing in former players to come in and engage with the Bearcat fans. So we're going to be there a couple hours prior to the game starting, and we want to get all the Bearcat fans. That'd be your pregame destination. I'll have guys like James White's flying in, D'Antonio Wingfield. I'm giving away some of the guys. Brad Jackson, who played basketball and won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, he's coming in. I mean, I could go on and on. Herb Jones, like I've got guys who are going to come, be on the podcast, engage with fans. I'm going to have fans come up, ask them some questions about how did you become a Bearcat fan, talk about your Bearcat, what's your most valuable Bearcat memorabilia. A lot of these people have Bearcat man caves, talk a little bit about that. It's our first time engaging. Think about this. We started the podcast during the pandemic, and we've never engaged in person with the fans, the Bearcat fans.
Yeah.
It is about damn time we do this.
It's about time.
Right?
It's about time. It's time.
So, we will be at Mio's before every home game, and we're going to announce the details of all that very soon. But another cool thing that happened is when I was meeting with Richard and Kelly and talking to them about the deal about us coming to do the live podcast, I brought up one of our producers, Colin Cruz. And I told them, I said, one of our producers plays guitar and sings, and would you mind if he came and performed? And Kelly was like, oh, my God, we're looking for somebody. So I think it was, what was it, last Saturday? Last 2 Saturdays ago, Colin Cruz performed at Mio's Pizza. One of many performances. Now, I want to issue out an apology because I was there. And I got wind that my producer, Stu Holt,
it must have been nice,
was not happy with me.
I mean, I'm glad that you were able to enjoy that, but, all I got to say is I felt ousted. I felt...
Tell them why.
Well, because me and Meach had a mutual agreement. Every time that Cruzy would post on his social media that he was going to perform somewhere live, literally every time, Meach would message me like, "Oh, we gotta pull up on him,
surprise him.
We gotta surprise him, show up and support him." Every time, right? There's only been one time he hasn't done that. And that one time, he went without me. Now, to the people listening, I'm sure that you can understand of how that looks. That doesn't seem right. That the only time that you did not hit me up about us going to support him is the time you actually went. And how did I find out? A nice little social media post that I almost reported.
You almost reported.
I almost reported it as inappropriate, and I just almost reported it to Instagram.
Can I comment?
You can go ahead and comment.
So I didn't know Cruzy was performing until he posted on his social media, and I ended up messaging him.
Can I stop you real quick? To the fans listening, we can check the receipts. Just go back to the previous episode where Meach announces the time and the date of when Cruzy is going to perform.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
It might have been me, but
It wasn't me.
Either way,
How
you
would,
knew.
How would I know? I didn't know. He might have said it on there, but I didn't
So
put it in my
you knew.
calendar. No, I did not put it in my. You think
I saw
as
you
many
put it in
things
your
I have
calendar.
going on? You think I'm gonna remember Cruzy's schedule?
Dang, Crazy, that kind of sounds kind of.
I got my own schedule.
You do have your schedule, but you knew. Didn't y'all send text messages together? Then you ask him when it was. Then you confirm.
the
It
day
wasn't a
of.
question.
The day
Hold
of.
on, Crazy. Did he ask you if you were, or like did he ask you? He asked you the day of.
yeah.
Therefore, he knew. No, it would be
Because
too.
I saw the social media post
So you already knew. When did you see the post?
that day.
Either way, we always see it that day. He only posted that day.
So the point is this: by the time I figured out that
It's
I
messed up.
could even go,
Okay.
because we had an AAU tournament so we had a game at 5 and 8. What time did you say were performing? So I was checking because I didn't know how long his set was. So what if I tell you, hey, let's pull up the Cruzy performing, and then I can't go? I don't roll like that, and you know I don't roll like that. If I'm gonna go somewhere, I'm gonna go.
Well, here's this. You ready for this? When did you find out you could go?
Well, so I found out after the 5 o'clock game that we had for
Okay.
AU. After the 5 o'clock game, the 8 o'clock game was a game that we could win.
Okay.
So I was only going to go for a portion of that game,
Okay.
and I was going to dip. So I went to a portion of that, and I dipped, and I went to his.
Okay. So, hey Stu, I'm going to this game. I'm only gonna go to a portion of it, but remember, have we been talking about time and time that we're gonna roll up on Cruzy and support him? Remember, have we been doing that? Let's do it today.
Here's the beauty of this.
Okay.
The beauty of this is Cruzy's going to be performing a lot more at Mio's. In fact, we were talking about Cruzy performing after some of the podcasts that we do live there.
When he showed up, did you know he was coming?
No.
You didn't know.
He said what time you played. He asked what time I played, and
So
I told him. And
you
then
You didn't know he was coming.
I figured he
Hold on. Oh,
might
no,
come by, but like he didn't say like, all right, I'll
listen,
be there. He
listen.
just
When
said,
you
like,
saw him,
Yeah.
how did it make you feel?
I was a little surprised. I didn't know he was. For
But
sure
did it
coming.
make you feel pretty good?
It was always good to see Meach. Always
Okay.
good to see Meach.
I'm going somewhere with this. You ready for this?
Dr. Phil?
You ready? No, you ready for this?
All
This
right,
is
I'm
what,
ready.
this
I'm
is what
ready.
I'm leading
I'm
to.
ready.
That first feeling of that surprise will never happen again. It never happened again. If we show
You
up
don't know
now,
that. You
if
don't
you know, if we show up
See-
now, it's like, oh, okay, they showed up. But that first time was crucial.
Your first time.
You know, you just wanted it to be just you that first time. That's what it was.
It was.
That's
not
what it was.
about me.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Took a picture, and when you took that picture, I almost felt like that was just for me.
you think I posted that?
I'm telling you, I think it was just for me, just to be like, you know what, you missed out. That's how I felt.
Well, I'm here to say this.
That's how I felt.
It wasn't like that.
That's how I felt. Cruz had like a certain. You had like not Cruz. You had a certain smile that just looked like it
That
was.
my smile was, "Hey Stu, wish you were here."
Yeah. So, yeah, your smile said a lot. But I went back, to the picture, and me and Cruzy realized something. Ain't that right, Cruzy? You don't have to say that, Cruzy. It's okay.
You said I didn't say anything, so I was just gonna let you have your
Okay.
moment.
Now, as we've heard him say, Meach was saying that he went to a game and then came to your thing because he only stayed for a little bit of the game, so he came to watch you perform after that. After he was at one of his, was it Shining Stars games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a lie. And I'm going to tell you why it's a lie, Cruzy. I've known Meacham for quite some time. You know, I've seen Meacham all the time because Shining Stars was a program that always was around because, you know, they had team stuff. All right. So I've always seen him around at games, AAU games. One thing I've never seen, though, when I see him at these games, was him wearing jeans. You did not come from no daggone game.
It did.
No.
I'll tell you why.
Meach, anybody that's listening to this, you know you've never seen Meach at a AAU basketball game with jeans on.
That's facts. However, is a person allowed to bring a change of clothes? And I'm gonna tell you one thing. That shirt I have on, I purposely wore that shirt that particular day. I wanted to wear that shirt, that Cincinnati Love shirt. I had a change of clothes. And
you want to wear that here at his thing? So here's the thing. So you packed, even though it was a last minute decision, ahead of time, you packed some other clothes to be at an event that you didn't know if you were going to go to?
Yes. I got some. If you look in that bag I have right there.
But so you wore this shirt. You put this shirt on in the beginning of the day?
No. I wore a Shining Star shirt to the game. No, actually, I wore a TMT Shining Star shirt to that game. I changed in the car, in the parking lot, into that. And those shoes I have on.
I was about to say something about the shoes.
Those are dope.
They are.
Those are the Nike Waffles. Those were in the box in my car. And I'll tell you what, I covered them with my Shining Star hoodie. I covered the box when I went into the game so nobody saw the box.
Man, he went full length, didn't he, to get to your event? That's okay. But, you know, all I'm saying is it seemed like it was planned. You know, with a whole, I didn't know that you had packed a whole outfit.
If he thought he was maybe going to make it.
If I thought I may make it, I wanted to have if I showed up in the Shining Star gear, I just didn't feel like it was appropriate. There could have been a couple, you know, it could have been a couple dimes that, you know, you never.
A couple background singers.
But listen, I want to tell you there's one thing that I do, and my friends will tell you this. I always pack prepared. So if you look in that bag right there, I guarantee you, I have
some trench boots,
2 pairs of shoes,
random stuff,
hand me,
a bow and arrow,
Cruzy, hand me that big bag.
What's in your bag?
What's in your bag?
Yeah.
Yes. If you haven't seen our What's in Your Bag high school series, please go check that on YouTube.
Bow and arrow.
So
some random items.
Clown car. It's like all kinds of
Yeah, whatever you need.
Listen,
Whatever you need.
I'm in my bag.
A spare tire.
I got a pair of Jordan workout shoes.
Okay.
I've got, a pair of Nike running shoes. I'm telling you, I come prepared. I got my Shining Star shirt in here. I have extra. I've got workout top. Do you now see what I'm saying?
I don't see no jeans in there.
I'm prepared because I'm not going anywhere tonight. But I'm prepared if I was to leave here and go work out, which there was a chance, but I'm not going to go to the workout facility tonight. I got this here.
I'm just saying. If this was like a case and we had a jury, I'm sure the jury would be like, yeah, that was premeditated.
If it don't fit, you must have quit. This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They now have a flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You won't lose any credit or have to start over. So anyway, I'm just going to segue out of that because you guys
need to take care of that on your own time.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation offline. Cruzy, I'm excited for this opportunity for you at Mio's to perform, and you need to keep posting it on your social media so people can come out and watch you like Stu. Yeah. Well, you know what would have been nice? It would have been nice if Stu saw it and just been pulled up on his own. But anyway,
I wouldn't have did that without you.
Would you?
I wasn't gonna do that without you.
Oh,
though.
you need.
No, because we've already planned that. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go without Meach because we and him have already talked
Well, how
about
come
it.
you didn't text me and go, "Hey, I'm going. Let's pull up the Cruzies"?
Because I've never texted you first.
Why not?
Because it just that's not.
Well, now I'm hurt.
No,
now I'm hurt.
I'm talking.
Now I'm
no,
hurt.
I'm talking about when it comes to Cruzy and his performances. You've always hit me up about it. I've never hit you up about we should actually. Maybe I have, but either way.
See, now he's.
But either way, I would not have went without you. That's the key. That is the key point.
Cruzy, go get your guitar.
I would not
Go
have
get
went
your
without
guitar,
you. But
Cruzy. We're gonna do a song.
Clearly,
let's do a song here.
Clearly, you didn't.
Let's get some happy
just
vibes
saying.
going here. I done brought the mood down, talking about giving the basketball to a kid.
I
His father
can't wait.
passed
I can't
away,
wait.
And
I'm gonna show up cruising.
and you're.
And the pick we gonna take is fire.
Make sure you know next time I'm playing.
I can't
You gonna
wait.
pull up with a Meacham jersey on?
Nope,
and-
with a Xavier.
Yeah. I hope that thing falls apart. Why don't you, Stu? Why don't you bring the mic over here, and I'm gonna give this mic to Colin Cruzy. Let me do that.
You guys can share.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Oh, there we go. You know what time it is, folks? It's time. How many episodes have we? How many performances is this for you?
About 4.
This is
Three or
number 4.
So, it might have been 3. This is the 4th, maybe.
This is the 4th one.
Yeah.
So, Cruzy's been coming on the show and doing some acoustic songs, particularly the ones that I like.
Right.
We need to have next episode. We're gonna have a song that Stu likes.
Okay.
How about that,
He seems excited.
Stu? I'll give you some time to think about that. You might already know, but we'll leave that for
I
now.
make sure it's I gotta think about it.
Okay.
Make sure it's
don't,
good.
Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
Does it have to be a certain genre?
It's your song.
It could be any genre.
It's your song.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, like I have to pull it off. So
That's
okay.
on you.
I guess you're right.
Well,
If I can't pull it off, I'm giving you the mic, and you're gonna
What
have to
kind of
finish
pressure
it.
you putting on Cruzy like that?
No, I picked the song.
All right,
you make it
we'll
work.
figure it out.
Make
We'll
it
talk. We'll talk.
I'll play. You hit the shot.
Cruzy,
That's pretty good.
I did hear that.
That's
I heard
pretty good,
it.
wasn't it?
I heard
You
it.
like that?
I did. I liked it. I'm still upset about the Mios thing. All right. So what we're doing here is giving Cruzy his opportunity to perform. The songs he's performed thus far, he's performed Justin Bieber,
Yep.
Kings of Leon,
Kings of Leon, some John Mayer.
John Mayer.
I think that's all we got so far.
And
right?
today, what are we doing, Cruzy?
We got a couple artists involved in this one. This is Kanye, Rihanna, and Paul McCartney song, 4 or 5 seconds.
4, 5,
Which is
seconds.
a great song. I feel like people have kind of forgotten about this one since it came out, a couple years ago. But great song.
Who wrote the song?
I don't know. I'm sure it was like a joint
effort.
collaboration between the three of them.
I was
I don't know
Soulja
if
Boy.
Soulja Boy was involved.
Soulja Boy will tell you that
He'll tell you if he was
will
involved. He'd
personally-
let you know he was involved.
He said he was the first rapper with an iPhone. And did you know they pulled up a video of him and he had an iPhone back in the day. You ever seen this?
Oh, Soulja Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's crazy.
Soulja Boy be for real. Y'all think he lying. Soulja Boy was the first to do a lot of
Drake!
Drake! Exactly.
He's comedy. He's become pure entertainment. Like he is no longer an official, like you can't take him serious at this point.
Yeah.
And he knows that. You know who, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get away from song. You know who's one of the funniest people that people don't really give credit to? Ray J.
Oh, Ray J's hilarious.
Ray-
Did you see the interview with him in the glasses?
Oh my God. Ray J is comical. Jesus. Some people have said that the Biggie and Tupac beef started because of Ray J.
Really?
Yes. Ray J was the reason the beef started.
With Tupac and Biggie?
Yes.
What do you do?
Is Ray J even old enough?
Ray J was a little kid, because he's from LA, and he was around someone who was around death row. And I guess somehow, him being young and running his mouth, he ran his mouth about Faith, Biggie's wife, hanging out with Tupac at death row.
Wow.
And it got back to all them, and that started it. This was on the internet.
Dang, Ray J.
They say all roads lead back to Ray J. Just remember that.
Now we know. Now we know.
Now we're to do a Ray J song.
What's that Ray J song? If I had one wish.
We're not having Cruzy do that one.
Hey, that
We're
might
not.
be one I choose.
If I had one wish. Ray J. Hey, that video of him with the glasses on the Breakfast Club
Oh man.
is so. He is. I love
They
it.
get a
He
lot
was
of good clips
interviewed
from
by
that.
the Speedy guy, and he was like, "You can't break him."
Oh, you can't break him. And the dude broke him.
You know what he said after he broke him? I don't care.
Okay. I saw that video. You can't break these glasses. And dude broke them. He's like, I don't care. Oh, that's classic. Sorry, Cruzy. We gotta wait.
No.
Okay, so okay, we're doing 4 or 5 seconds.
Yep.
Rihanna, by the way, is one of. You still laughing about the Ray J thing?
That's one wish.
Oh,
Who really came up with that?
he's a piece.
Oh man.
Rihanna is one of my favorite artists.
She's incredible.
Isn't she?
I love Rihanna. Yeah.
There's a video of her. I don't know who her friend is, but she was in New York City. I guess Rihanna might live in New York. I think she lives in New York.
I'm sure they all have at some point.
So she was with her friend, and they went to a karaoke bar. Did I ever tell you this? They go to a karaoke bar, and Rihanna dresses up as like incognito. So they're at this like hipster type.
Did you see her? Or
No, this is
okay.
this is on the internet.
Okay.
This is on the internet. Everything's on the internet, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah. So anything you do, Cruzy, just remember you will be on the
It's
internet.
yeah.
So she's in this karaoke bar, and apparently somebody is filming. And I don't know if it was her like other friend was there because they knew what they were doing. But Rihanna dressed up as a secret outfit. Is it the right word? Like incognito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she,
Disguise.
a disguise.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there you
I don't know
go.
why I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out that very simple word.
There you go. There you go.
She goes up to perform karaoke, and like people are like, "What in the world? This girl can sing!" And think about this. Imagine you're at a karaoke bar, and somebody famous just starts singing. They had no idea it was her.
Wow.
No idea. It's an amazing video. I'll pull that up and watch that. Anyway,
I'd love to see that.
she's an amazing artist. Paul McCartney, obviously, the history of him. To find Paul McCartney with Kanye and Rihanna is just, I thought that was strange how that crew came together, but
I'm sure it was something to do with Kanye because he loves kind of reaching out and working with different people. And I think he's worked with Paul McCartney before.
has he?
On
Okay.
a couple of different things. So.
Okay.
You
Recently-
never know with Kanye. You
Recently
never know.
divorced Kanye
Yep,
West.
that's right.
Yes.
Heard he's
Yes.
back out there, though.
Yeah, as he was modeling.
Yeah, he's a model.
He's out there getting after it.
Good for him.
Good for you. Easy. So we've got this song. Kanye has a part in here.
Yep.
Stu, you want to accompany? Do you want you and I? Should we do his little singing verse?
I think we should.
Do you count Kanye's part on this song as a singing?
He kind of sings. Yeah, I would call it singing. Yeah.
Okay. Stu, you want
I'm ready.
to? Okay. So Stu and I are going to join you on this one.
Good.
Yep. So just hopping in on the chorus and the Kanye part, and we're looking good. And disclaimer: I cannot sing like Rihanna, so I'll try to make it my own.
If you could,
make it work.
you would not be sitting
Hey,
here.
exactly.
You would not be on the
Exactly.
Bearcat Basketball Podcast.
All right, you guys ready?
Born ready, like Lance Stevenson.
Good.
I like that. All right, let's do it. I think I've had enough. I might get a little drunk. I say what's on my mind. I might do a little time. 'Cause all of my kindness is taken for weakness. And now I'm 4 or 5 seconds from wildin'. And we got 3 more days till Friday. I'm just trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear I wish somebody would tell me, 'cause that's all I want.
Woke up an optimist.
Sun was shining, I'm positive.
Then I heard you was talking trash.
Hold me back, I'm about to spaz.
Now I'm 4 or 5 seconds from wildin', and we got 3 more days till Friday. I'm just trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear I wish somebody would try me, 'cause that's all I want. 4 or 5 seconds from wildin'.
Throw your hands up, everybody.
We got 3 more days till Friday.
Lighters in the air.
I'm just trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear I wish somebody would tell me, because that's all I want.
Woo!
Good. You guys got into that. That was fun. That was fun.
Good.
Boy, I tell you what. First of all,
Good.
Cruzy, let me give it up to you. You did a good job with that.
Oh, thank you.
You did a good job with that. You're no Rihanna, but
No Rihanna,
but
hey, maybe someday.
you were definitely very good. And props to Stu. Stu
I
came
know,
in.
I know.
Woke up in optimism. I mean,
He's been talking about the vocals, so I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it.
what was really impressive, and I hope we got this on YouTube, Stu came out of his chair a little bit. Not all the way.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You see at the lift?
I saw the lift. I saw.
So you got into it. He
I
was
saw the
feeling
lift.
it. He was feeling it. He was feeling it.
Because the way you came in, Cruzy, in the very beginning,
Yeah.
I was feeling it.
You got to match
Okay,
that.
okay.
You got to match that. That was great.
Yeah, we gotta do some more some group songs. That was fun.
I got it. Here's what we do.
What's that?
When we do the Bearcat Basketball Podcast at Mio's, we're going to perform this.
Yeah, okay.
song?
The same song.
Let's do it.
We're going to perform it live.
Let's do it.
Okay?
Let's do it.
I'm in. Apparently, Stu, you had an idea when we do the Mio's thing. What was your idea?
Oh, man. This, if there was a word that's above idea, that's what this is. This is more than an idea. This is something that's groundbreaking. You have the Roots with Jimmy Fallon, and you have talk shows that have their band, and we have Cruzy. We have Cruzy.
We have Cruzy.
And I think that Cruzy would be great to bring somebody in. Cruzy plays a song. If there's a break within, fan talking and a former player talking, Cruzy plays a song. And when it's all said and done and it's all over, Cruzy, take us home.
I like it. I like it.
Cruzy,
I like
you
it.
in?
Can't see into that, can I?
Man,
Can't see into that.
something above idea. That's what that
Right
just
above
was.
it.
Right above.
Right above it. What did MJ say? The ceiling is the roof. MJ said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
That was
I know. Fortunately for me, I know the backstory behind that whole thing.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, offline, I'll tell you, because my buddy was
Okay.
actually there
Okay.
when he said that. Do you know that Michael Jordan owns a tequila company?
I don't know if I
Do you
knew
know?
that.
You know
I don't know
that?
if I knew that.
That's why the ceiling's the roof. That particular day. That's why I'll leave it there.
I got you.
You know what? This, as usual, was a great podcast just because Cruzy comes in and great performance. Now, next episode, Stu will be picking the song. So I'm stepping away from that. And I have a feeling, I know what genre you're going to pick from.
Really?
I do.
I'm not okay. Go ahead. I'm not going to say if you're right or wrong, but what do you think?
I think you're going country. I think you might go country.
We'll have Cruz go there doing some Jeezy.
Some Jeezy.
That would be interesting to take like a hardcore gangsta like rap song and turn it into a acoustic folk. Am I stealing the thunder? My fault.
Nah, that's what I'm just saying. I hope Cruzy's ready.
Well, one way to find out. I mean, it
Cruzy's
sounds like it's going to be.
Cruzy's always
it's
ready.
Going to be a lot. It's
Are you
gonna be a
always ready,
challenge.
Cruzy?
I try to be.
I need you to wear
try
a
to
Lance
be.
Stevenson jersey next podcast
I
because
need
you're
one.
born ready.
I need a Lance Stevenson jersey.
We'll get you one.
Make sure it's a Pacers one though.
Oh, yeah.
He's in my book, he's a Pacers legend. I mean,
I would agree with that.
he's a Pacers legend.
Pacers love him.
Because as my time as a Pacers fan, I grew up watching, PG and him and George Hill, Hibbert, all those guys. So David West, Xavier guy. So
David West is a good guy. He's a good guy.
Always loved Lance. I got to get me a Lance jersey.
Yeah,
for sure.
David West is good. I got a David West story for you.
Oh, okay.
You want this David West story?
Let's hear it.
I am in Orlando at the AAU National Tournament. This was several years ago. And we're getting ready to play. There are 4 courts at the Milk House at Disney. You ever been to Disney's Milk House? Okay, so AAU Nationals are at Disney, and there are 2 facilities on Disney's campus at the Wild World of Sports. There's, the Milk House, and they built a 4-court facility. So the total of maybe 8 courts right there on campus. And I'm in the brand new facility, and we're getting ready to play. And I look over, and there's a team, I believe they were from North Carolina or wherever, getting ready to play. I look over, and I'm like, that looks like David West. And I see, and it was from a kind of a side view profile. And I was like, well, let me walk around and see if he's got the chin hair. Because, he was known for having that chin hair. For sure. So I look, I'm like, man, that's David West. 'Cause he had a hat on. That's David West. So he's talking to some kids. And I'm like, maybe his son's here, blah, blah, blah. So I walk over. This is a true story. And as I'm walking towards him, and this happens to me a lot, and jokingly, I'm going to bring up something you said earlier. Whenever I walk up to somebody that either I don't know, maybe a celebrity, your first initial words, your presentation is very important, because you could lose that. They could totally walk away from you, as Ben Simmons did to me one time. That's a whole nother story. Or they can engage with you. And I've kind of learned the art of how you approach, high-level people, celebrities, and engage with them. And one of the ways that I do it is 6 degrees of separation. I usually first introduce myself. And I'll say, hi, my name is Alex, as Cruz.
Word for word.
Yep, Cruz says. And then I'll say, hey, I'm friends with so-and-so. Well, the first time I ever met Michael Jordan, I did that. We have a mutual friend. This was years ago. And he went crazy that I knew this guy, because he's not a real well-known person compared to him. So I walk up to David West. I'm like, dang, what do I say? Because UC doesn't like him. It's like he beat UC, blah, blah, blah. But David West is a good dude. What I'm saying at the end of the day. So I walk over to him, and I'm like, hey, David. He's like, what's up? He got this deep voice. And I'm like, hey, man, I said, I played for the Bearcats, man. And he went, Meacham.
Wow, look at that.
I'm going to tell you what happened. This is a true story. My friend was there, and he can confirm this. He goes, Meacham. And he points at me. And I'm like, oh, shit, this ain't good. He was like, I remember you. And I was like, really? I was like, I didn't play very much. We were the same era. We were the same time. Yeah. He was like, man, I got to tell you this story. He's like, Skip Prosser got us so fired up for the shootout because of your book. This really happened. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? So Skip Prosser took out, in my book, I talk about the Crosstown shootout and how intense it is. I talk about that in my book. Skip Prosser read my book, and I know how he got my book, which I'll tell in a second. But he loved that part in my book so much that he made a photocopy of it, and he put it on every player's locker at Xavier before the shootout. And he made him read it, and he goes, this is how important this game is. And David West told me that story. I had never heard that story.
It's crazy.
And Skip Prosser's obviously passed away, so I've never had the opportunity to say something to him about it.
Right.
I was at Bob Huggins' golf outing years ago. Skip Prosser was there, and I had a bunch of copies of my book, and I gave Skip one at that at that golf outing. That's where he got my book from. And he ended up reading it. And he took that part. And David West was like, I remember that. And I was like, because I'm like, there's no way he remembers me as a player. Like, I was, not that good. I wasn't on a scouting report. I thought that was crazy. So we just chopped it up. Long story short, he had a AU team there. He has an AU program. And his AU program was their first time I've ever seen an AAU team have cheerleaders.
Wow.
They had cheerleaders. Have you ever seen this?
Recently, there was a team that was here in Cincinnati that one of my friends sent us in our group chat. And, yeah.
You need a microphone.
One of my friends sent us a picture of a team that had a full-fledged cheerleading squad. It was at Sports Plus, actually.
Amazing.
Court 1. They had a full squad.
It's amazing to actually see that at an AU game.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
It's different. But I wanted to say something real quick about the story you just told. So, in other words, Meach is kind of like Spike Lee, and the reason I'm gonna say that is because Xavier probably went on to beat UC in a crosstown shootout because of the thing you wrote in your book. That's crazy. He kind of hyped up.
So I don't remember what year that was. I don't remember. I didn't ask him that question. But the way he told it, it sounded like Xavier won.
Yeah, see?
He sounded pretty excited about it. So.
See?
He literally pointed in my chest.
Dang.
He was like, Meacham, I remember you. And I was like, what in the world? My buddy was like, whoa.
But that's amazing, though. That's the power of a book, man. You never know who can get their hands on it and stuff like that. It's pretty dope.
You never know. So, all right, I have to tell this story.
Good.
The last story. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm moving stuff.
He's moving stuff.
All right.
It's about to be good.
I did not plan to tell this story, but I got to tell this story.
Good.
It's one of my favorite stories. Sorry if I get a little long-winded with this. Michael Jordan is retired from basketball as playing for the Bulls. There are rumors that he's coming back to basketball. My friend is working Michael Jordan's basketball camp in Chicago at Elmhurst College. He's a referee. He calls me up. I'm on my couch. I want to say maybe a Saturday. And he calls me up and he goes, you got to get to Chicago right now. I said, bro, I mean, this was back when Michael was playing, so this was years ago. I'm like literally on my couch. What are you talking about? And for anybody that knows me, I hate driving. I don't like driving anywhere. I don't even like driving into the store. He's like, you got to drive up here. I was like, I'm not driving to Chicago. What's up? He goes, I'm working Michael Jordan's basketball camp. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking like he's going to say, well, Michael's going to be at camp and you come meet him. And I'm not like going that far just to kind of do that. He goes, Michael's coming back and he's playing a pickup game tomorrow night. And he has, I think it was Randy Moss, Tim Hardaway, Ron Artest. He starts naming all, Mitch Richmond. He names all these guys. He said, they're coming up to play a pickup game. And he goes, you want to come watch? And I said, let me call you back. Get off the phone. Call my buddy Cornell. He was coaching at Walnut Hills at the time. Did I ever tell you the story? I feel like I've asked that like 3 times. This is a story I don't tell a lot. Call Cornell. He's almost as big a Michael Jordan fan as I am. I called him Nelly. I said, Nelly, you're never going to believe this. My buddy called me, and Michael's coming back, and he's going to play a pickup game. We got to go. We got to get to Chicago. Nelly goes, let me call you back.
He calls somebody.
Nelly calls me back. He goes, he goes, pack your clothes. He goes, I got a plane. He didn't have a plane. He goes, I got us a Delta ticket, first class. We're headed to Chicago. Call up my buddy. I said, we got a flight. We'll be there. I tell him the time. He goes, I'll have somebody pick you up at the airport. Me and Nelly rush to the airport, CVG, first class, get on the plane, take off. So we're taking off, and the stewardess person comes around, and they give you like, little things of wine. So I'm now like 10 thing of these wines down, and I'm like, whoa, bro. I'm seeing like all kind of, I'm like, whoa, I had too much wine. I'm like, wait a minute, how did we get these tickets? He's like, well, I'm kind of dating this girl, and she works for Delta. So we get, you get like a family ticket or whatever. You can do like a standby thing, and it wasn't a full flight. I'm like, this is crazy. So we're drinking wine. We land in Chicago. I'm blinking, like I can't see, no luggage, nothing, like no clothes, nothing. Well, we have a backpack or something with stuff. I'm like seeing stuff. We get off the plane, walk out, and this is back when like we had cell phones, but it wasn't like it is now. Mm-hmm. So we just had to look for. So we get off, and a girl's holding up a sign that says Meacham, and Nellie goes, look. And I'm like, oh, so I walk up to her, and she's like, hi, I'm Rabia. I'm here to pick you up for the Michael Jordan camp. And I'm like, cool. So we get in like this SUV, and they're like, she's driving us to Michael Jordan's camp. She's like, so do you guys need anything? But she thinks we're like famous. And I look at Nellie, I'm like, she thinks we're somebody. And I'm like, oh my God. We get to Elmhurst College. We walk in. They got camp going on. There are hundreds of kids everywhere. Finally, I see my buddy, G. I'm going to call him G for the sake of the story. I see G. I still feel that wine, by the way. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like walk over to him. And so G's like, oh, my God. He's like, so glad you got here. He's like, so we got camp going on, and then we're going to send you to this back room, and then Michael and everybody's going to get there, and then we're going to bring you back out. Trust me, this story is worth it. So it is really worth it. So we go out there, and Grant goes. It's really happened. Grant goes, oh, hey, did you bring copies of your book with you? And I said yes, because he asked me to bring a couple copies. Mm. I'm like, okay, he's not going to give it to Michael Jordan. By the way, this story is not about Michael Jordan getting a copy of my book. So he said, go get one. So I go get one. He pulls this kid over. This kid comes over, and Grant, Grant, I'll say his name. Grant goes, he saying to this kid, he goes, hey, this is the guy I was telling you about. Here's his book. And so Grant's like, hey, sign it. So I sign it. And I'm saying to the kid, I'm like, oh, how you doing? Kid's like, good. And I was like, here's the book. Kid looks at it, and he goes, oh, you the guy that played for the Bearcats. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I don't like the Bearcats. And I'm like, this little punk-ass kid, I was just giving you a book, and you tell me you don't like. So why is that? He goes, man, y'all, the way you guys play, man, dirty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this little. So I'm looking at him, and I'm getting ready to. Grant goes, this is Michael Jordan's son. True story. Oh, no. This is Michael Jordan's son, Marcus. And I'm like, and he had the little glasses on. Mm. And I'm like, wow. So he like walks off. Mm-hmm. He probably threw that book away. But Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, got the book.
Wow.
Said he didn't like the Bearcats. Said, oh, they play. And I think we were sponsored by Jordan.
Facts.
We were a Jordan-sponsored team, and Marcus, I'll kick that little. So that was part of the story I want to tell you. The ending story is this. They usher us back to the back room. Camp ends. We're back there chilling. All these people start showing up to this back room. They got us back there. Grant comes in. He goes, hey, in 5 minutes, we're going to take you out. You're going to sit underneath the basket, so just chill out here. So they come get us. We start walking out. And all of a sudden, we just hear like this like crowd. And I look at Nellie. I'm like, what the heck's going on? We walk in. And we're like, what? They put the bleachers down. There were like thousands of people, like probably 1,000 people in the gym. Well, some kid had got like, something happened to some kid, like got a shot or something in Chicago. And Michael wanted to donate money to that kid's family. So they charged like everybody that was coming in like $1. But what they did was when you gave them $1, they gave the person a disposable camera. So they had all these disposable cameras, and they took the $1 or $2, whatever it was, as a donation, and then Michael was going to like match it and give it to the charity. So all these people had these disposables. I had a disposable. I'm saying, so they put us underneath the basket, and I got a picture to prove this too. So I'm sitting underneath I've never posted it. So I'm sitting underneath the basket. Guess who's standing next to me? Marcus, the little kid that didn't want my book. His brother Jeffrey, his mom, his sister Jasmine, and then his mom. Jordan's family was right next to us. And Nelly was like, do you believe it? I swear, if we called Nelly right now, he would verify this whole story.
Wow.
We're sitting there. Crowd's going crazy. Randy Moss shows up. Tim Hardaway shows up. Ron Artest, who back then we didn't know really who Ron Artest was. He was just crazy. All these people, and they're warming up. So, no Michael Jordan. So they're warming up. Crowd's there. Crowd's starting to get restless. Then all of a sudden, Grant goes, hey, man, yellow Lamborghini just pulled up out front. He's here. So they said, we're probably going to need to give him some time to warm up and all that. So we're in the gym. Back part, I hope the story's not too long. Hopefully, I'm building this.
No, I'm
building this shit up. Yeah. So I'm going to start cussing here in a minute because I'm so excited about this. This is like one of my favorite ever stories. One of. So the crowd's like getting all restless. Everybody starts going, he's here, he's here, he's here, he's here. So the bleachers are down. We're sitting on the north end of the gym underneath the basket with only his family. Like, keep in mind, these people think we're like somebody important.
Right.
Grant hyped us up. I don't know what he told him. Still to this day, I don't know what he told him, like, who we were.
Right.
I know you're probably going to say, like, Jason Kidd or something. So
That's probably what they thought.
no, they would have asked me for a picture. So across from us, there were no bleachers. It was like Walnut Hills' old gym. There's nothing behind, and there was a door.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, boom, door opens. I swear to you, a light comes out of the door.
Ain't no light come out the door.
And like fog comes out like Prince. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating that part. But all of a sudden, this dude comes walking out. And Nelly and I look at each other, and we're like, oh shit, that's him. And you know that walk? He had on a cut off black Jordan shirt, had on like some black Jordan silky shorts, and he had on the Jordan 11s. And he's just walking with that swag, and all you could see were these disposable camera flashes going off like brrr, brrr. It's crazy. And I'm like, Jesus? Is that Black Jesus? And like, Nelly's like, this is the first time I've ever seen Michael Jordan in person. And Nelly's like, this is unbelievable. And Nelly's like, I can't believe this. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, how'd you get them plane tickets? Like, how are we here? Like, this is Michael Jordan walks out, gives dap. He starts shaking hands with all the players that are there, all of them. Walks over to warm up, takes the ball, shoots it one time left-handed, makes it, and he goes, I'm ready. We're like, what? This is amazing. So a guy has a microphone. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. We decided to do this as a fundraiser for whatever. So the money you paid to get the cameras all going towards it. Michael's going to match it, double it, whatever, and donate to the family. So this is going to a good cause. It was like a last-minute decision to bring these people in. So they start playing, and for most people don't know, like usually NBA players and some of those guys, they play games to like short numbers. They don't play to like 12. They'll play to like 6 by ones.
Right.
So they're playing these short games to keep them moving. And Michael's out there. This dude literally wins he won like 5 games in a row. Just 5 games. And not even when I tell you he wasn't fully trying, he was just using his knowledge. So Last game, it's the 6th game. I'll never forget this. He catches the ball on the post, and guarding him was Sean Marion, who actually we played against when I was with the Bearcats when he played at UNLV. And I said something to him that day. I said, we played you, in Vegas. But he didn't remember me, but he remembered. He said, yeah. He's guarding Michael Jordan, which is ironic because he guarded Michael in the All-Star game, and Michael hit that fadeaway on him in the All-Star game. Remember that one? So he's guarding Michael in the post. Game point. Michael gets it, starts taking that pound dribble with the left hand. He's on the left side. Boom, bumps him once. Boom, bumps him twice. He leans back to do that patented fadeaway. Goes like that. Sean jumps, goes flying in the air. And Mike just pump fakes, goes up and under, off the glass. Game. Place goes bonkers. 6 games in a row. 6th game, he wins on a cerebral move. This should have been the whole podcast. Shit. But here's the best part. And I'm going to end on this. I'm moving stuff around.
He's doing it again. It's about to be good.
The guy who had the microphone gave the microphone to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan grabs the mic and goes, I want to thank everybody for coming out. He said, hopefully you enjoyed this. This is for a good cause. And he goes, played 6 games, won all 6 games. He said, most of these guys out here are faster than me. Because, this is older Mike. Most of these guys out here are faster than me. Some of them stronger than me. Some of them could jump higher than me now. He said, then he goes, but I'm smarter than all these motherfuckers. And then he goes, and I'm coming back. And he drops the mic and he walks out of the door. Didn't high five anybody, walks out of the door. The door opens, light and like fog starts coming out. And I look at, now keep in mind, when he did cuss, it was mostly adults in there. They were like, they weren't letting kids in the thing. They were all adults, so he wasn't cussing in front of kids. Nelly looked at me and he goes, this is incredible. And I was like, we saw Jesus. That was Black Jesus. This is a true, and he announced he was coming back after that.
Wow.
I had that disposable camera and I took a picture. 2 of them underneath the basket. I still have those. Just him warming up.
Wow.
Yep.